Sanji, y'all. Welcome, Scotch on the Bayou, for our July installation of live and with friends from across the ocean in the motherland of Scotland. And I hope everyone's doing well on this Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening over there. Just kind of playing with this time slot to see if we can't get some of our favorite people from over there to talk with us over here in the States and around. Got a crowd in already, and I wanted to say hello to folks. Hey, Donna Andrews. Going to have a lot of alumni of the Islay Whisky Academy tonight. Donna, great seeing you, and thanks for being part of our Camp Drammers now. That's awesome. Whiskey and Wine Trails. Now, hey, Tom, good to see you. See if you could see up here on my Kilkerran, my beautiful stave that Tom made. It's gorgeous. Thank you so much for that. And Scott Monroe, oh, friend, it's so great to see you. Glad you could join us. Frank coming in from the Netherlands. Great to see you, friend. I know you love some Pete. I know you do for sure. Gosh, great seeing everyone. Mr. Great Shot is in. Awesome. I know you like you some peated scotch there, friend. Mike's in, yay. Rick's in all the way from San Francisco. He and Donna pulling the West Coast pool today. Scott from Scotch. Scott on the Scotch. Hey, Scott, how are you doing? It's great to see you. Thanks for being in and tuning in. And Luna is here. Hey, good to see you too. I miss all my peeps. I'm telling you. And look at this. Gasper's in. Hey, glad you could join us. I hope you enjoy it. This today is going to be a lot of fun. This has been circled on my calendar with actually all three of them, but all three of the shows this summer are because of my next guest. We'll get into that a little bit. I just want to say, and Jennifer, speaking of roomies, Jennifer, hey, glad you're here, sweetheart. Get to see you in 4 days or so. That's awesome. Tater Dom is in. All kinds of great folks. 4-Leaf Whiskey Stacy, thanks for being in. Oh, goodness. Loch Ness too. Holy moly. We got a crew. So, so this summer we had three shows each month with taking the summer off. And at the end of the show, I'll kind of give you a recap of some of the plans and how September is going to go. But this particular show, I'm super excited about because I think when we have a journey, either within whiskey, our whiskey journey, or even life in general, we have lots of paths we can take, right? And I firmly believe that as you're on that track and you're going that way. So for especially this whiskey journey of mine and how it started so randomly by just walking into a distillery and then wanting to learn more. The need to learn more is an opportunity, and you seek those opportunities, you find them, and you take upon that, that challenge to learn more and do more. But I firmly believe that as you go on these paths, that people or circumstances come in those paths, and you make those decisions on which route to go, right? And then they're put there to help you and to get you maybe to that next step. It could be family, it could be friends, or it could be even a person an ocean away. And that is this person. I think it's up to us to be open to those possibilities and to act on them when we do see them. Sometimes throw caution to the wind when you look at something and you see, oh, there's a competition for a week-long resident course on Islay. What are the odds? But you do it anyway. And what happens is really cool stuff. Some really cool stuff can happen. And I would say that the person, my guest, is, and I want to make sure she's good and she's ready to go. Give me a thumbs up if she is. All right. Awesome. This guest is one of those people that I am convinced by the stars and the heavens above would put in my whiskey path. And because of that has led me to more things and more people that I can even amount to know. It's just amazing. Um, what she's created, what the opportunities that she's created have literally changed the trajectory of where my life was going. And please welcome the Queen of Islay herself, Her Majesty, Rachel MacNeill. Hey, my friend.
Hello. How are you this evening?
Hello. It's so good to see you. I know we were a bit late, but with technical fun things and Isla internet's working, so yay.
Yes, I hope it's not going to cut out halfway through.
Oh no, you're coming in great. And the idea that it's after 8 o'clock and there's still sunshine reminds me of last summer when it was still bright at 10 o'clock. So
It's lovely. I love the summer like this. I love the late nights when it's like this. Yeah,
it's amazing.
great.
Well,
And
I see.
everybody is. It's lovely. All the folk, John and Donna and Rick and Felix and
Yeah.
Jennifer. Hello to you all. It's great to see
I
you.
see John's
Mark,
in.
lovely to
Yeah.
see you.
And hey, Felix. Oh my goodness. I think we should be counting
Amazing.
counting countries. That's amazing. Um well, I do appreciate your time. I know that you've had a busy week. You
Oh,
sent me an
definitely.
email to we were going back and forth an email and you talked about you were going to see the boss this week, but not Jim McEwen.
A different boss. The other boss went to see Bruce Springsteen, so he was fantastic, Leanne. Yeah,
Oh,
really
amazing.
amazing. An amazing performer, an amazing singer-songwriter, and he's 74 years of age, and just, my goodness, just so strong and focused. And he did a set for 3 hours solid. To do that, he must have some stamina.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
Well, that rock and
And I don't
roll.
think I don't think he even had a drum.
What's crazy is you see all these old rockers that had a really rough life and they're still kicking. I mean,
Yes.
you
So
know,
just this shows you, but yes, this is very good for us, sláinte.
it is. It is. So what have you got in your glass?
I've got one of John McChain's
Oh, there you go. Mm.
meditation mode. So it's from the Highlands. I'm not very good at the numbers. 4.371.
What's
So,
for? I'm trying to think. Hmm. John could tell us.
John, you can. Oh, hello, Gaspar.
See there? All of this. John knows. Queen of the Hebrides, the one and only. That's right, John.
John, what's the four? What's number four?
I don't know. It's like, oh, I should know that. I want to say it's not Ardmore, huh?
Highland
Highland
Park.
Park.
Yes,
Highland Park. Yes.
yes, yeah.
There we go. Nice and heathery. Well, yeah, I'll disclose my dram here in a
Hello,
minute.
little Murphy. Everybody's here tonight.
I
Yeah.
know it's the place to be. Um,
That's
and
the place to
my
be.
my normal folks have heard my story a lot about having the opportunity to be able to come and do the Islay Whisky Academy, and we could get into some of that, but I kind of want to know, like, what was your what was your genesis of why you wanted to do the academy and do that 5 days of and I would say it's intense, but it's not rhetoric. Do you know what I mean? Like it's
No,
the
rhetoric. No.
it's
No,
such an
certainly not.
experience.
No, certainly not rhetoric. That's the last thing that I'm interested in. That is the most boring. Rhetoric is the most boring thing on God's earth. No, uh, I wanted to basically it follows the whiskey making process of, starts at the beginning. So, starts with the barley and then moves through the week. That's the kind of journey of it, for the week.
Hmm.
But it doesn't always work like that. And I wanted to make it people that like, it's people that know what they're doing, that know what they're talking about. So, the people that come and teach us are like the top people. So the information that they give you is not bullshit. Oh, very good, Donna. See, Donna's bought the inaugural release. It's delicious. The Arnaho inaugural release is absolutely delicious. Yes, it's very nice. So I wanted to do that, Leanne. I wanted to. So it's a bit like Whisky for Girls. When I started Whisky for Girls, when I would write it to make it with explain what was happening, but make it accessible, make it easily accessible. And then I wanted to make this about the production, so in a way they could come and follow the production process from beginning to end, roughly in a week. I mean, sometimes, and it changes from course to course, because although it's got the same 5-day remit, some days we'll go to James Brown for the water, but then maybe like in the autumn, we'll go to Andrew Woods for the barley. We'll do peat cutting. We do distilling in the afternoon, obviously in the distilleries, but right. the other things tend to fit in maybe with what's happening in the year. What else? So we get people like, and sometimes I'll just like I'll see something. I'll go, oh, I would like to learn more about that, like yeast. When we had Professor Graham Walker from Abertay.
He was there my year, my session.
Yeah, he's brilliant, and so I want to learn about things myself. So, so I'll say, oh, I wonder if we could ask so and so to come. And I keep trying to get Richard Forsyth to come. I'm wanting to get the the still makers.
The coppersmiths,
I've been speaking to him, but they're so busy, But maybe I'll keep persuading him, and maybe I'll get him to come, because that would
pleasantly
be so
persistent. I can't imagine anybody saying no to you, Rachel. I mean, like, I would think there would be like some bad juju going on if you say no to Rachel MacNeill. Just saying, just thinking. But yeah, just I want to share this. The Islay Whisky Academy is. I mean, you're on the intro reel. I don't know if you caught it, but this photo is on the intro reel of the live show. It is one of my favorites.
That's a good photo.
It was so fun, and it was just the idea, because that was a special day. I mean, the whole week was absolutely magical, but to be able to pull up a lobster trap at the end of Ardbegg's jetty with 2 lobsters and a bottle of Kelpie in it, and then pour said Kelpie over oysters.
Cool.
That was just, that was amazing.
Yes,
that was truly amazing.
We've got good photos of that. I've got good photos of you doing that. That was great fun. Yeah.
Oh,
that's a lovely dram. I love Kelpie, and I think Jennifer Moore, and I think she loves Kelpie too. I think she's that's wonderful. Yeah. I see John McShane says Graham Walker's other claim to fame is a member of the Tartan Army. He followed Scotland to Argentina in the World Cup in '78.
Oh wow, that's an experience.
And his wife is wonderful.
She was a hoot.
Is she Scandinavian or Danish? But she's the boss of the Scottish Ceilidh Club Association or something like that. She just organises all events and everything like that. She loves all the music. She's full of enthusiasm and life. She's a lovely lady.
She was lovely. I remember her very well.
Yeah. So you'll need to come back again soon, Leanne, because when was it you did that first year? And then you've only
October 2019. October 2019. This was our crew. Me and Jennifer. It was Ivan and Vinka from Norway, and Paul and Jason, and then you and James Brown, which we all kept going,
Yes, yes,
you
yes.
know, um, our two tall Germans that we wanted to play basketball with. I'm like, we
Yes.
play basketball. I want Michael and Tobias to be on
Oh
our
my
team.
goodness. And the guy from New York,
Yeah, that's Jason there.
Jason, yeah, he's a good
Yeah,
guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Caitlin, I mean, Caitlin,
Mm.
I've seen Caitlin twice now, I think, since. She went to Harry Styles with me last summer,
Oh,
and then I
cool.
saw her again in October, um,
Oh,
or
cool.
November when I was over.
Yeah, yeah,
Michael, and then Giannis. Giannis just had a birthday from
yeah. Yes,
Greece, you know,
that's right. Yeah,
and
God.
then,
Is
uh,
that David? Is that David,
David
is
John
it?
yeah, the, geologist. That
Yeah,
was
David
amazing that
Webster.
we
Or
were,
John.
there.
Yeah, I
But,
forgot as well. We do geology because it's so important with water.
it is.
Yes, and
So
influences your mash.
next time you see David, you need to let him know he has a book sale because of me. That there's actually a geologist
You're
here
on
that works
commission, Jan.
I know, that works for the state of Louisiana, and she's a Scotch drinker. And I told her about his book, and she bought it, and it's the updated version that talks about Colonsay and another one of the maybe another island.
Cool.
Um, but this is my dram, the one that
Yeah,
100
the barley
Bryson
can't beat
is
it.
pouring.
It's a lovely dram. I love beer barley as well. And I love
Yeah.
100% Islay from Kilchoman.
Well, and that's one of the things I mean, I think was so different between, what you present as an experience of learning as opposed to others. And they're just different. They're like different types of whiskey, One's maybe not, better than the others. It's the flavor and it's the mood and it's what you're looking for. But where some may be very technically oriented, all about the process, the chemistry, the science behind it. I would say the experience with Islay Whisky Academy is the art and the spirit, like spirit of it, of the spirit, if you will. I mean, I
Yeah,
felt
well,
that.
well, well. It depends. It changes all the time, Leanne. So maybe the year you were there, it was like that. But other years, it can be very technical. So this is the interesting thing about it,
Okay.
because um, it might be that the year that someone else was there, they did a lot of like. Oh, I can't think. Neil Murphy, we need to make a list of all the looking back over all
All
the
the topics
years.
for each year.
Yes,
Well, I mean, like the yeast. The yeast was very technical.
yeah, yeah. So it just depends really
Yeah.
what we're focusing on. Do you know what I mean at that time, and who our
Yeah.
teacher is?
I
So like for instance, I think Deval Gandhi, he was he Neil Murphy said it's his day off. Deval Gandhi, he was very technical about distilling and blending. So it just depends who we've got really teaching
yeah.
us, what their focus is.
I guess my what I was trying to get to is that it was so the yeast, for example, with Dr. Walker. Um it was technical, but it was personable because he was there presenting it,
Oh
and
yes, yes.
and go when we would go down to see the water source, at Dr. Moore Springs, that was almost a spiritual experience, to be able to go and see that, hear David talk about what that water went through to get where it is and how it's used. Um, Getting to meet the people. And I think for those of us who are so far physically removed from Scotland, and we don't see it every day, it does have like this heightened emotional connection to us. Not that it doesn't for those that do. I just think it's almost like when I would come back for a home football game and I would get so
Yeah,
excited, well, now I've
yeah,
lived here for 20 something years and it's like, yay, LSU, It's a little different on that. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't take it for granted, but
Oh
maybe
no.
maybe we well, it's quite often though things like quite often things will connect with you, right? For
Hmm.
example, so Isla Campbell, he used to be the manager of Bowmore Distillery years ago, and he used to go around with his wife to have dinner with Jim McEwen and Barbara. And my friend Lamont would be the taxi driver, because in those days there was no taxis really, and Lamont was the only one. So we would go and collect them and take them back, and they would have had very nice whiskey and nice wine and feeling very magnanimous, and they'd be coming back round the loch, from Bruichladdich round
Uh-huh.
round the loch there, and seeing the lights of Loch and Dol. And Isla Campbell would say, "Oh, my horse, my heart is broken with the beauty, And this is him coming home at night, and that's what he would say to Lamont,
Oh,
and Lamont and him would say, "Yes, yes, yes." So we do
beautiful.
have these moments, even though we live here all the time.
It's I mean it's really it's an amazing thing. I know I just the day that we were out on the peat field, and this bottom right um is a dram that we poured out there, and just the way the light hit, and you know the smell of the earth, and just all of it was just completely and totally amazing. um
Yes, yes,
mm,
that's lovely having a dram out there on the peat bank, and also you deserve it after all the hard work that you put in.
right. I hope my name is still on that peat shed.
I hope so. I think that'll have. I think Claudia will have heated his house with that a while ago. We do. He does very well out of us. We cut his peats for the winter.
Oh, well, that's good. It's the least we could do.
I
But
know
I
David
mean,
Brody.
huh?
That's nice to have David Brody. I
Oh
know.
yeah. I mean, if ever there was a picture you could smell, it's that one.
For sure. For sure.
Oh, that's for sure. Oh, I see Jeff Whiskey is in, my buddy from south of your border. Hey bud, good to see you. Hoagie's in from Germany. Hello, Hoagie. Glad to see you. I know you love some peated whiskey for sure. Um, Back to John. So I always love the technical married to the sense of place and people and Scotch. In your courting the dram course, Rachel, you cover all aspects of the technical and the heart. Um,
Thank you very much, Mr.
yeah.
McShane. And Mr. McShane, he so in the court and the dram course, there's a lot of interactive. You can listen and watch videos and things. And we've got a lovely story with John McShane. He recorded it for us, and it's
Ah,
part of the course. You just press the link and you go and you hear John telling a story about the distillery of his heart. That's
oh,
lovely.
that's amazing. Ah, David Brody. Now I see you, friend. How are you? Hello from Isla. I have to almost have that at least once or twice a week so I can have a reconnection to see the veranda from Bunahab.
Yes, it's good that he does the photos, isn't it? Keeps
And
everything
he has a
updated.
dog named Rue too. So I love that. Rick says he remembers the when you opened the first day of class, taking the life force of the out of the barley and using the energy, and we drink the energy of the earth.
Good for you remembering that, Rick Johnston. That's amazing, because I'm pleased that that resonated with you, because that's an important aspect of it. And I don't always do that, but I think it's quite good for folk to to experience that way of thinking about things,
Mm-hmm.
especially now with all the global warming. Crikey me, it's terrible. The weather here is in Islay has been really cold this summer, and it's global warming. I know that sounds a bit bizarre, but the weather is not normal. Like this is autumn, so the weather has moved. So we're actually having the summer in May now, you know.
Mm-mm.
So it's actually moved faster. Do you see what I mean? Whereas before it
Yeah.
would be June, July, and August, and then you'd go into the autumn. Whereas when the kids broke for school, we just had autumn. So the poor kids in Islay have had terrible cold. It's been cold, Leanne. You know,
That's crazy because it was warm last summer. It was really warm by the time we got to London. But it
yes,
just,
but that's because the weather's all over the place. That's what global warming is. It means that we've lost our routines because all the things are moving. You know, like the North Atlantic drift and things like that. Well, that Luna Aaron's asked a question, Leanne. That will affect it absolutely, because it means that we'll need to start, if it carries on like this, Luna, we'll need to start thinking about, you know, I mean, they might not be changing it next year, but they would certainly will. If it carries on like this, you'll need to change when you plant, you know, because the barley, to have this cold July here and not much sun, the barley's not hardly ripened at all. You know, it's not. So that's not very good.
yikes.
Is Jane reading off this book, or has he just got an amazing memory? I'm very impressed.
It's all his memory. Yeah, we're going to say that. Context for whiskey is an awareness and a connection to the place, people, culture, weather, emotion, and myriad of elements coming together. And I think that word elements is a big part of it. You know, I mean, I think of it as, and maybe it was because of that's where I was in my whiskey journey to be at the academy at that time. But it was a way for me to realize that it was much more than just liquid or liquor in a bottle. That it was a holistic look at how it came about. I mean, theoretically, I understand there's barley and there's water and there's yeast and there's all the things. But when you start meeting the people, you start meeting the person who grew that barley and he's pouring this to you in his barn, you know, then I think those connections mean they start coming together and you start developing a whole new level of respect and awe and appreciation for the efforts and the people that work to put that together. You know what I mean?
Yes,
I've been in the right place at the right time, you know? Not
yes.
sure.
No, I know what you mean, because last October we had that film crew came. They were filming about Islay, but they filmed about the academy. Freedom, Gaspar. They filmed about the academy through the whole week. We were like the thread that held it together. And what I liked about that, Leanne, was this film crew wanted to share how the whiskey industry was affecting the island, right? This huge overlay of whiskey industry. But what they did was they kind of showed the gentle way of life and allowed the audience to interpret it themselves. So they showed the gentle way of life and then it was like, well, this could all change, you know. So I really liked that. So that's kind of what you're talking about. And they conveyed that. I liked what they conveyed about our island, and it was quite gentle and it was very authentic, you know, and they didn't go on about this big thing or that big thing, because anybody could go and read all that, you know.
Yeah.
So what they did was they showed the kind of essence of it in their film, you know, and I really liked that. And then they left it to the audience to enjoy that, and then to maybe say, oh, we don't want to lose that with all this heavy industry coming. So they allowed the audience to engage in their own way rather than hammering home a message. But they showed the way that Islay is, and it was nice. I'm laughing here about the gas bag and the iron brew. Absolutely, it's very good for one.
Well, some of our friends that are on the West Coast, it's just afternoon, so you're the reason for day drinking in the States. So thank you for that. Some of us have made that a professional sport.
Absolutely, that's brilliant.
That's for sure. Well,
so what time is it on with you?
It's just after 2:30 in the afternoon here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I just want to go. So I want to throw this link in, so that'll be in the chat, and then I'll put all these in the description too later. But of the Islay Whisky Academy, so people can learn more. But I mean, I'm a fan. I think dearly of you, and especially being able to come back last summer with Mark, and for Mark to see and Mark to get it, and he was completely enamored with you and all that you took to see us in just an afternoon. We're still talking about Kilnave, just the things, him taking a nap at Mockir Bay. Was a hoot, just laying on the beach.
We were lucky then. We had good weather, didn't we?
It was beautiful, and the oysters, just going and enjoying that. But being able to spend time with you was amazing.
I loved it.
It's I think it's one of those things where you kind of want to pinch yourself and say, "Is this really happening?" But I know that I would not have had those experiences had I not gone to the academy. And I probably wouldn't have gone to the academy. Maybe later on, I would have found my way there. But you decided to have a contest and invite people to come, and tell you why they wanted to go. And I still can't understand how I won that thing.
Well,
but I'm ever so grateful.
One of your things that you said was, you said, I've got money. I'm like not teenage, and I've got money in my pocket. And when I go to the drinks store, they direct me to the martini aisle. But the thing that you said was that you wanted to learn, and you said you were going to do all these things, and you've done them all, like this show and everything that you said that you would do. We had 85 letters we had, and we went through them all twice, and then so Margaret Rose helped me, and then we split them, and we said no and no, and then we said yes and yes, and then we went through them again. It took us days. And they were lovely. They were touching, because we didn't say a thing like tick a box. We asked people to say what they would do for themselves, what they would do for Scotch, and what they would do for Scotland. So it was really lovely essays that people wrote. So, and you've done everything that you said you would do, Leanne. I think that's amazing.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. And Donna, I saw it was a post on Instagram is what I saw, and went to learn more about it, and I think that's one of those things where, you wrote an article on the blog about, if it's good to be lucky, but you got to try to, like, you have to play to be lucky. Like, you have to actually.
That's right. You're not going to be lucky if you're not in the game.
I'm not going to win that lottery if I don't go buy a ticket. I'm not going to, you have to create your own luck sometimes. You have to actually, do some of that yourself. But, so Rachel, I can't, and I say this all the time. I know it's probably people who are probably bored. I can't imagine not knowing the people that I know now. Yeah. And they, for the most part, I would say 90% of them came through Islay Whisky Academy, one way or the other. Alistair was my guest last month.
Yep.
We spent a wonderful 48 hours on Rassay, with he and Sharon. That wouldn't have happened. He was there that time. He was there in 2019. He was laying down whiskey and not had put a drop in a bottle yet under that name. He was making gin to pay the bills, I mean, just, I wouldn't have known him. Next month, John McShane's going to be here, and so you'll get to roast him and just come on back. All three of you this summer are all because of that connection from the Academy. All of it.
That's lovely. And that's one of the points of the Academy, and I'm so pleased you said that, because that's one of my things. I wanted to build community. That's why we have the kinship. So, it's so that people would connect up in a... I did, David. So that people, would connect up, even, like out with, how like you meet up with Leanne, or you meet up with Jennifer Moen. So it's building a community. That was very important to me. Well, it is very important to me, the kinship of all the students and all the people. That is community is a very important part of the Academy. So
because it doesn't stop after that. Like you said, the kinship, and Neil does so much, you do so much. I mean, once those 5 days are over, and if you remember, it was hard to say this because usually I'm like, oh, Pollyanna, but it's like, don't be sad it's over, be happy it happened.
Yeah,
damn, I don't want to leave.
Yeah, that's brilliant. We've got you saying that on the film. That's on our film.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. Next Friday, Jennifer is coming down from Oklahoma. I'm going over to Austin. We're meeting in Austin for the weekend.
Oh,
I can't imagine not having her in my life. I just, and it's, I mean, we've stayed so very close. I didn't know her. I barely knew her name before I got to Islay. Didn't know. Everybody thinks that we knew each other before. We had, I think we've spoken over email, maybe text a couple times, and that was it. But it wasn't like I said, hey, Jennifer, let's go to Islay. I just met her there. She's amazing. Like all these lovely people.
I think it was Rick asked, how do I know Neil Murphy? How did I ask Neil Murphy to come on the Academy? I can't remember. We must have been on were we on a Glasgow Whisky Club or something? I don't know. And no, Neil Murphy came to a whisky tasting I held in a piping and whisky tasting I held for the National Whisky Festival in Glasgow one time, I think it was near Christmas. And I can't remember what else. And then I wanted someone to be the host of the Academy that was authentic, and the piping thing. That's right. Yes, that's right. You did. And I wanted someone that was authentic and that was not as crabbit as me.
And for those who don't know, a Scot on Scotch is Neil. So check him out. Yeah,
so
and
Neil, just asked
your Instagram in there, because I know, and which will lead to your blogs, because your reviews are amazing.
We were. I phoned him up and we had a big conversation, and then we decided that would be a good plan.
I have to tell you, David Brody, I do quote you some nights, some mornings when I'm out in the backyard with my dogs, and one particular likes to snack on things. I do quote you, don't eat, you know what? And I think about you every single time in very nice ways. I know, but yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love this. I was blown away by this strange lady showing me those diagrams of the shapes of the tunes. I love it. It was amazing.
That was amazing. Yeah, I really liked that. And the folk were a bit nonplussed, but it was something interesting.
Absolutely.
So,
Goodness. So,
about,
so the academy, you have usually one or two in the spring and a couple in the fall. Are usually, or what's your schedule for
well,
2020 or for the rest of
yeah,
the year
we're
and
having
then next
we're
year?
having two this year, Mel, Leanne. So we had one in March and we're having one in October. One year we had three, but that's too many. I mean,
Mm,
you could have one every month, but it would be different because it's very it's like you could make it a lot more business like
yeah.
and have one every month. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
but I don't want to do that. That's not the way I want to run it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with running it like that and changing it slightly, but I like the way it is. It suits me. And I want people to have this kind of theoretical, technical, professional, but old-fashioned experience in a
Yeah.
way, if you like. So we've got one in October, which is fully booked actually, and
I figured.
we've already got folk for March booked in for March. So if anyone wants to come, you need to book in for March.
Awesome.
um, so
So, I wanted to bring this up too. So you also have, for those who can't get to Isla, you also have the Whiskey Affinity, right? According to Dram, which you everybody's heard a little bit because John threw that out there. And and this is a way to be a part of it if you can't get there right away, right?
yes, 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 and it's nice because it's got a lot to do with piping. It's got a lot to do with so it's what it is it instead of having the focusing on the drink, it focuses on you and teaches you how to engage with the drink in a way to get a lot out of it, and it teaches different ways to evaluate to conceptualize the dram in a way that suits your own thinking. So some people like a flavor wheel, which is a circle like this,
Yeah.
like a clock face or something like that. But other folk, they can't remember that. So I put in different ways of thinking about things. So then there's one that's like a street. So you walk down a street and you go into a baker's shop, you go into a flower shop, you go into a fruit shop, you go into a shoe shop, and these are places where you smell different things, but you can actually envisage yourself walking down like that. Another thing is that people that are very more maybe into computers, they can do it like systematic, like a family of like phenols, and then have it coming down, and different phenols more blocked out. Like, so we all think differently. So
Mm-hmm.
so this allows us to think differently how we approach our dram. We see people never thought about that before. They just thought, oh, we need a flavour wheel. But you don't. You can use lots of different ways that suit your own thinking.
Because people learn differently and they relate differently,
Yes,
like you said, Some
yes,
people have to hear it, some people have to read it, some people have to
yes,
see it. Ah, awesome.
yes. And then it's got things like it's got poetry, um, piping, weather, uh, location. It was brilliant fun to write it, and I want to write Alchemy of Distilling, which is volume 2. But I need peace, because you see in lockdown we had peace,
Right.
and even though you're maybe not that busy at a certain time, you don't have peace now. Whereas in lockdown we had just such peace. You didn't appreciate it. But now
Right.
you look back and you think, oh my goodness, I should have done a lot more. But however,
Well, if we knew we were gonna have all that time, I mean,
I
it's not,
know.
there's no crystal ball on that, that's for sure.
Mm,
But you're still doing stuff because you have a new collaboration now about Beyond the Barley. And this came out when I was traveling, so
okay.
I need to know all about it because I haven't been able to delve too much into it yet. I'm still catching up from being out of town.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, tell me about, because my brother's an illustrator, and when I
Oh,
saw these
yeah.
images, I just had a fit. He's
Ah,
amazing.
cool. Well, it's very exciting. So it's a cartoon or a graphic novel. I don't exactly know what because it'll have an ISB number, so that it'll be registered at the library. But so it's the journey of barley. So beer barley is our land race of barley that we still use and still have from 10,000 years ago. Oh, thank you very much. Yes. You can pre-order on Kickstarter if you wish, and it'll be ready to send out at the end of September.
Okay.
So what it is, it's the journey of beer barley, which is actually the migration of the human. So it's after the Ice Age melted, and there's three girls. So this one here that you've got a picture of here, she's called Speller. She's actually the one that has the still. So she's like the kind of alchemist. So that it's got a lot of symbology. It's got a lot of layers to it. It's got many stories connected to it. And people came to Islay about 12,000 years ago, right? Even longer ago, but they didn't stay. They just came hunter-gatherers. But we know that there's people lived in Islay for 9,200 years. So what I'm wanting to do with this story is I want people to rethink, the conventional received wisdom. So my professor, when I was at university in Glasgow, my professor told me that Gaelic originated in Islay.
Really?
Yep, not Ireland, not Ireland. So, and also all this stuff about whiskey originating in Ireland, I'm not going to go into that just now. But
I don't think Stacey's still on. She's my
all,
Irish friend, Irish whiskey friend.
It's all received wisdom. So I want to make this this story that will show people, because people came from the north down. So they went, because the Ice Age, what happened was the ice melted, but then it came back, but it never came back in Islay, and it never came back up on the coast, like up there, right? But it was still down the south and all the rest of it, right? So the people migrated up to Scandinavia, across to Shetland and Orkney, and then they came down. They didn't come up the way because the ice was already there. The ice, the ice, but this piece of where Islay is and all the rest of it, the ice had melted and it stayed melted. We did not have the return ice age. And the interesting thing is, there's a fantastic book. Quick, let's see if I've got it here. This book here. So this professor, so the land of the Islay is plural of so Islay is a person from Islay. Islay is the plural. So this
writing that down.
This is a brilliant book. So he this is the archaeologist who it's a place called Ruaport na Shilach in the Sound of Islay, where the people came to. You can walk there, you can go there, and they've been doing archaeological digs. So there's all proof. There's lots of proof about the movement of the people and how they came. And the interesting thing is, the name of the place in Gaelic means willow, because the boats were made of sealskin, and the ribs of the boat were made of willow because it moves. Willow.
Oh, okay, willow. Okay.
They used willow, so that's why they came there to the place of the willow. That's what it means in English. I've got a meeting with a professor that wrote this in 2 weeks' time. To learn more and to discuss with him for the book. So the comic is a comic or a graphic novel, and so it's like there'll be there's a lot of factual things in it, but it's also magical, because the girls have. So, for example, 10,000 years ago, we never had metal, right? So when they left the Fertile Crescent, that curve at the end of the Mediterranean, right? When they left there, tagines. Tagine, it's like it comes up like that. And a tagine is what started to be a still.
Still, yeah.
Right?
The
So it's
perfumer. Okay.
a tagine, right? So that's 10,000 years ago. Oh, that's my cat come into the room.
I'm surprised my dogs haven't busted through here yet.
Stu wants to be on the screen. So so they had a tagine which would have been made of clay or sometimes with glass from the heat and the sand, right?
Yeah.
So, but we didn't have metal until like I think it was 4,000 years later, right? So what happens is they leave the Fertile Crescent and they've got a magical boat and it's made of a raven's egg because it's really the, so you look at the logo of the Islay Whisky Academy.
Yeah.
It's the three girls in the boat. I think it is behind me. It is.
I'll throw this back up there so you can see. Yeah. The three girls are here.
Yes. So that's really the three girls. And so the one at the front, she's holding a telescope. The one in the middle is holding an alembic, which is metal still. And the one at the back is holding it's barley. She's steering
with the barley.
Steering with the barley. So to get past this, that in the beginning there was no metal, right? So they have their boat made out of an egg. It's a raven's egg. It's a magical raven's egg, right? And I think you can see loads of it on. Where can you see it? Oh, you can see lots of pictures, I think, on Kickstarter, because we keep updating the Kickstarter. Yep. So they go to Cyprus because Cyprus, what happens is they're on their boat, right? And then there's a big storm and the boat gets wrecked and they get rescued by dolphins and whales and things, right? And then the dolphins and whales take them into the Cyprus, right? Now Cyprus is the island of Aphrodite, right? So it's connected to Venus and it's copper, right? It's the end of copper because in the past it was the island of copper, right? So what we do is they fall asleep, they fall in love with the Cypriot men and they stay there for 4,000 years. and then when they leave, they have their still because the Cypriot men make them a still. So then they take the still becomes their boat. So then they set sail in their boat. So it's quite magical, but it's got these factual things that's true because Cyprus was the place for copper. And do you know what I mean? So anyway,
I love it.
It's an exciting project. And
tell me about the illustrator.
She is amazing. So she is a girl from she went to Dundee University and she so Dundee is the home of comic. I don't know if you know, but that's like the Mecca. So Islay's the place of whiskey. Dundee is the place of comic.
And gaming. Like
yes,
big time.
So it's from Dundee that we have Marvel and all that because it was just we guys in their bedrooms drawing away because we had Beano and the Bruins and all things like that and Dundee. Yes, Luna, Aaron, rescued by like Odysseus, absolutely. That's absolutely right. So it's kind of like that. It's also the journey of it's also the development of the human, so we've got like the heroine or the hero's journey. So there's many layers. I mean, you can read it as lightly as you want, but there's all this in it, so you can really get a lot out of it. Sorry, what was I saying Dan before that? Before I saw it with the dolphin.
Well, about Dundee, the illustrator.
So she so I've been working with a girl from Indiana University who's a comic geek, and she was over here in sabbatical last year, and I met her by chance. This all happened by chance, like everything in my life happens by chance.
And you know what I think about chance.
She was talking about comics. and I was talking about whiskey, and I said to her, we should make a whiskey comic. And she was like, yes. So we've been working for the year since I met her. And then we were like that, right? So I wrote the story and I've written it all, but we needed an illustrator because, I mean, I wouldn't show anyone the wee stick figures that I made. It's not my forte.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. We have the links in here, but I'll put them in the description to you for other folks to be able to go find for sure.
Okay.
And you said that so you've got a Kickstarter with that, and then it's going to be ready in September.
The book will be out at the end of September, but we've got a very amazing thing. It's not on. He's asking the Kickstarter deadline is you don't finish the book by the Kickstarter deadline. The Kickstarter deadline is the 9th of August, but we have to have all the money by then. Kickstarter, I would never do Kickstarter ever again, never. So we have to raise all the money by the 9th of August, right? But we don't. Yes, Neil's right. But we don't need to. But we are not putting out the comic until the end of September. But Kickstarter is a strange thing because if we don't, so we said we're going to sell so much, and this is going to be the price. But if you don't reach that price, they don't give you the email addresses of anybody that's pledged the money. If you don't reach the limit that you've said, they will not give you the details. So you lose all these sales, which I find it really annoying because if I'd known that, I would have just put it on our Facebook, our website with PayPal, and we would have said, just pay it up front and then you'll have it by the end of September. And do you know what I mean? It's really annoying.
Luna, I'll put the link up in the chat, but I'll have it in the description again for sure. So you can scroll back. She's looking for that support. Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to do an amazing thing though. So see why the three girls are lying sleeping right on the shore of the Mediterranean, and what happens is a pipe tune comes, right, like a map into the ear of one of them, right, and wakes her up. And she says, we must follow this tune that comes from Islay, right? So that is their map, this pipe tune. But we are actually, I'm getting a real pipe tune written. So when you open up the comic, right, and it's a double page spread of the journey, right, and when you see, so the map's all drawn and everything, but the pipe tune, you could actually pick up that comic and play the pipe tune. So, or sing it, and what we're going to do is I'm going to put it on the Kickstarter this week. I think you're going to be able to buy a note and give it to somebody, like a gift. So that'll be cool. So you can open up the comic and you can see, that's my note there.
That's my note. And B flat.
Yes, B flat. Well,
that's cool. That's no moss grows on you. You're constantly in motion. Constantly in motion. Goodness. So what other things do you have going on? How's Islay doing? I mean, I know I have to say for your spring class for the academy that you all got to go and have some of the first spirit running off of Port Ellen. I think that's probably the biggest FOMO, fear of missing out, I think I've ever had. that was pretty incredible. So, but seriously, I mean, there's quite a few new distilleries on a small island with limited resources and even limited people.
Oh, flipping! Oh, so we've got that's Lagan Distillery it's nearly up and running. At the airport.
Mm-hmm.
That's so it's there. Port Ellen started Fraser Hughes from Ardnahoe has gone to Farkin.
Okay, yeah, I saw that he left.
Yeah, so he's gone to work in Farkin, but I don't really know what's happening there. And Chivas have bought the distillery down from Beaumont. We're not. I'm laughing at Sugar Kitty here.
Yeah, if your note is B flat, what if
Because
my note is A minor?
It'll be at the so as it plays on, like, moving along. So some people have the same note, but it'll be a different place.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I spent many years Sugar Kitty playing the oboe, so
Oh,
I know
cool.
my note I know my notes.
Cool.
Um,
That's funny.
but so it's where is Firkin? It's not it's on the
So
mainland,
that's
right?
the one, they call it Port and Truan. So it's outside Portalan, between
Oh,
Islay
oh, oh,
and
oh.
Portalan.
What's the new one that they had not broken ground? I don't think up by the malt, up by Diageo's malt monstrosity.
Up beside where, Leanne?
It's outside Port Ellen, just on the
That's
north side of Port Ellen. Like as you take the road, you go past the maltings, and it's up there on the right. They it they've been delayed for a long time, huh?
um,
It has a
what you mean
name I can't
on the other
pronounce.
side? I think you're thinking of on the other side of Portalan, are you not? So you've got Portalan, and then you've got Lafroig, right? And that the one that Seconder's built.
It's on the road that you take to go north, like you're going up to like to Port Ascot, like that way.
Oh, do you mean the one at the airport, Lagan?
And it's not all the way to the. It's just outside. I thought, is it Portatruan, Portentruan?
That's on the other side. So
Oh,
that's between Lafroig and Portalan.
yes. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got you then. All right. Yeah,
So,
that's it.
yeah, so that's Farkin, but they called it Port and Truan. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's on the other side of Beaumont.
Yeah, I remember. I remember where the rum distillery is, right there by the water. And then, yeah, I feel like I know my way around because I drove, but that doesn't mean a whole lot. Hey, Mrs. N from Inverness. Hey, my friend. Good to see you here. We're having a great time. Dang, Rachel, I could talk to you all day, I miss you dearly. And I'm having trouble because I'm not coming over this year.
I'll need to come and visit you.
You need to come and visit me. I can't tell you how badly I would like to get you here in the spring when the swamp is alive with activity and it's cool to where you won't sweat buckets.
Okay.
And you go in the boat and you're going down the river and you just see the alligators and they're up kind of on these low branches of the trees, just kind of sunning themselves, getting warm and being lazy. It's an amazing, amazing thing. And the birds, you would lose your mind at the birds. Between ospreys, bald eagles, Rosetta spoonbills, all kinds of ibis. Just yeah. Yes, and the mosquitoes the size of small cats. That would be that too. But thank you, Chris. Everyone.
Mosquito. I'm actually, believe it or not, I've actually been bitten by a blooming mosquito in London when I was down at Bruce Springsteen. I was actually bitten by a mosquito.
They're not as big as the midgies, but they are just as aggravating. But we have a lot of other things that eat mosquitoes here, so
good.
it helps. It helps take that down some. That's for sure. So Petehead was asking about rumors about starting up the Port Charlotte distillery again. Is that a thing?
I've not heard anything about that. Have you, David?
Well, there you go, Frank. If she hadn't heard it, it ain't a thing. That's for sure.
Break,
yeah, come on. Everybody come on down here.
Yes.
Yeah.
The one the one round the other side. What's it called? Islay Distillery. I don't know what's happening about that, but
Mm.
I don't
Goodness.
think for Charlotte. No, I don't think so. Yeah.
Frank says, "Why do you think I asked?" Of course, we know that she would know. She would absolutely know. Mm. Well, well, good deal. So you've got Beyond the Barley coming up. Any other big things? Any other you got any travels you're going to be doing? I
Uh,
live vicariously through your travels in the off season.
I know I had a brilliant travel last year, or this year really. No, not really. I need to do a lot of work because we've got more. We're doing this comic the second week. um, I'm going to do. So they've got the first comic, which is called, which is about the journey, right, beyond the barley.
Mm-hmm.
But then the next one is when they arrive in Islay and how they start distilling.
Gotcha.
You know how it starts in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually meant to be 4. Oh God! And then the next one's called the dystopian distillery, and the next one's back to regenerating the planet again. So,
Oh, good. Well, that's something to
well,
be looking forward to.
yes. I just need some time, and then I need to write volume 2 of the of the course. So like that, maybe I'll get time over the winter. So that would be
Yeah.
good. Yes.
Yeah. Well, good
Not
deal.
go away gallivanting and just work for a change.
Oh, I don't know that I'd get anything done if I was on the island. I would just be flitting from one distillery and having drams and looking at double rainbows. And, I just truly, I'd never seen a rainbow, 2 rainbows end to end, but I did on Isla. Things
I
happen on
know.
Isla that don't happen anywhere else.
That's what Neil Murphy says. That's what Neil Murphy says.
He's a smart man. He knows. He knows
Yeah.
these things. Well, that's awesome. Well, I really I appreciate your time. I do.
Well, it was lovely coming on and talking about the plans and what's happening and talking about the academies. Just
Yeah.
great.
Because you could, one could, would, you can certainly book stuff there, and and you should. People who want to go and do Isla and visit the distilleries, there's nothing like David Brody doing a warehouse stein. There's nothing like that. That's been one of the best ever distillery, tastings I've ever had. But when you talk about being immersed into an experience, I don't think there's a thing that can be a week at Islay Whisky Academy. It just really isn't. Um, to be that immersed in it, to be not only in what you are experiencing, but the collection of other people. We had, I think, not I don't know, 7 different nationalities
Yeah.
at ours. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Um, and it's going to be great. Rick will be there in October. Awesome.
Yes. Yes.
Um, and Rick, are you part of the class? Or are you just going to Isla?
He's just coming on holiday. But if
Yeah.
you're here at the same time, you can come to things, Rick. Because some people
um,
do that. They just come to things.
yeah. So it's just an amazing experience, and it is because you put that. It's the Rachel effect. Okay. It's you curate this stuff. It's one thing to just go and see the distillery, but to have those people and the caliber of people that are presenting the material, um, and being at the distilleries and things like that, I can still hear Anthony Wills talking to us while we're standing in the kiln at Kilhoman. I can
Yeah.
still hear him telling me that he prefers a bourbon matured Scotch.
Yes. Yes.
And I just things like that. Walking into Ardnahoe and seeing that still room and looking at the Paps of Jura. It just, all of those things. But then, and this is what they don't, it's the after hours. It's going back to someone's where someone's staying and us having drams to 2 a.m., getting up and starting at 8 all over again. John McShane knows, Jennifer knows. Just the things that you talk about, the camaraderie, it's a magical place, that's for sure.
And this year, Leanne, David Brody and a guy from Germany were opera singing in Warehouse 9, I believe.
Oh,
an opera singer, and he and David were doing sing-offs.
I need to see that, David, at some point. I need to see you with the guitar and getting down over a barrel, just playing some, I don't know, some good folk rock, and let's rock and roll,
Yeah.
But, well, thank you, my friend. I really
Thank
do
you very much
appreciate you.
for inviting me on, and lovely to see everybody that joined. It's just lovely. So thank you very much.
And you can always, 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 please come anytime you want to come. And I hope
I'll hold you to that. I'll hold you to that.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. If you could, can you hang around a little bit before I say goodbye to every folk?
Sure.
And I'll pop back with you.
Sure.
Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Be there a sec. Well, folks, I mean, the woman, the queen herself of Islay. Y'all know I've talked about her forever. I can't believe I finally have been able to get her on the show, and to do it with this time slot is perfect. She's an absolute gem. She is, in a gem in the crown of Scotland of really loving the country and all that it stands for. She's an amazing person, and I'm really glad I get to talk to her and to call her my friend. It's just awesome. Everybody agrees. Everybody knows how wonderful she is. Yeah, we are definitely doing that. Gaspar for sure. Just a quick note about what's coming up. So, Mr. John McShane will be in with us on August 18th in about 3 weeks. So be sure to be back on that Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening to talk with John. I am so happy he and his wife Nicola have been able to come here in Baton Rouge and New Orleans twice. Again, connections from 2019 through Islay Whisky Academy, and now, getting to see them when they're on holiday here. It's amazing. But yeah, so we'll have a fun time with John on that show on the 18th of August. And then Tuesday after Labor Day in the US, Tuesday the 3rd of September, we're back on Tuesday nights. We're going to have a little bit of an adjustment on the schedule. I'll explain it all probably after John, and certainly on that first night, but I'm really excited about it. And everyone, thank you so much for joining us and being here. I wish I could just give you all a collective hug, all my whiskey peeps that I see, and I love seeing all of you, definitely. Thanks again for being here, and until next time, Sanju y'all.